Okay, so as the girls mentioned, I'm Yashasvi. I'm a consulting homeopathic educator. I've been doing this for 25 years now, and we're going to go over some remedies for tranquility of body and mind. A quick disclaimer. Thank you for your interest in homeopathy. Welcome to our friends and family homeopathy community. I strive to empower, educate, and guide families looking for a safe and effective over-the-counter, non-prescription homeopathic remedies for acute situations. Please do not disregard any medical advice or delay seeking such advice. And this is something Mary said at her workshop last week, that normally we would say you can take 5 to 6 to even 7 days and keep using natural holistic methods. But we are living in times where if in 2 or 3 days, you're not feeling better, or if you're having any kind of breathing issues, you must go to the ER, or you must call your physician and seek their guidance. I'm not going to talk about this. You already know about my degree. Go to the next slide. Everything that I'm providing in this webinar is for educational purpose. It's not to be used as a substitute for a physician's consultation. Again, seek the advice of your physician, qualified healthcare provider, the whole 9 yards. I'm a homeopath, not an MD. So you must, all the families that come to me retain services of their primary care physician for appropriate evaluation, diagnostics, checkup, referrals to specialists if needed. My relationship with my families is that of an educator, not a prescriber. It's your choice to use or not use this information that I'm giving you. As with anything that you use for yourself or your family, you must research and find answers to all your queries. What is homeopathy? I think we all know about this. I'm not going to get into this one. These are unprecedented times. We're experiencing a range of emotions: fear, anxiety, anger, irritability, impatience, sadness, moodiness. And then there's that financial insecurity. These are just to name a few. And then I heard so many new emotions that I had to actually Google the very first one. When Tori said bedraggled, I had to look it up. It's disheveled. Yes, I have felt that too on times. Sometimes it's 11:30 and I haven't taken a shower yet. So I completely I can feel everything that all of you brought to my attention. I will share with you guys some of the tried and tested homeopathic remedies that can help us to stay calm and collected. I'm going to share these slides, as I said, from Mary's presentation. She was kind enough to allow me to share these with you. And these were shared in a 3-day event in another page, which is Get Well with Homeopathy. And this was for Dr. Samuel Hahnemann's 265th birthday. And Dr. Samuel Hahnemann, if y'all don't know, he's the founder of homeopathy. He was a German physician who put the principles of homeopathy in place, and we're so grateful to him. This is something that I will again put in the chat also. I highly recommend for somebody who's new to homeopathy or somebody who just wants to review the basics, you can take Mary's free course. It's called the Newbie course, and you can take it by going to her website. I really loved it. I tested it out last week. She's basically put together some slides, some small short videos, which are not more than 2 to 4 minutes each. And then there's a quiz at the end of each of those slides. So it's very basic stuff like on homeopathy as well as homeopathic first aid. So, and it doesn't take too long to do it. But you can, once you get on, you can finish it at your own pace. And it's really an amazing thing. I highly recommend taking that free course. So remedies are picked based on the presentation, totality of symptoms, as well as modalities. And I already put the names of all of these remedies in the chat also. We are all familiar with these: Aconite, Arsenicum, Argentum, Arnica, Gelsemium, Sepia, Steffes aegria, Natrum mur, Ignatia, Lachesis, Phosphoric Acid, Pulsatilla, Phosphorus, Bryonia, Kaliphos, Causticum, Oculus, Nux vomica, Calcarea carb, and then finally I put in there nitric acid. So I'm going to go over, and sometimes I get this question a lot. When do I use sepia versus when do I use Steffes aegria versus when do I use Bryonia? So I'm going to try to differentiate between each one of them, and that's why I love Mary's slide, because what she's done is she's put the keynote of each remedy. So we'll go over the keynote of each remedy, And then once I'm done with the presentation, we can, if there's still any questions, we can go into differentiating which state requires which remedy, or which remedy would be better for a certain state versus another state that you're in. So this one, we all know this one. So that's why I love how Mary's called it the emotional first aid remedies. So Aconite is wonderful for acute panic with palpitations, intense restlessness, and fear. So, and I've gone through this state at least once or twice in this past month, where suddenly I feel like my heart is beating very fast. I'm totally fine throughout the day, and then suddenly I'll see something on the news, or I'll hear something, or I'll hear of, like, I heard about this 30-something-year-old personal trainer pass away. And I was in like a sudden state of, because, you keep believing that it's only the older or the immunocompromised, and then you hear of somebody young passing away. Or I heard of a healthcare worker in New Jersey that passed away. And the Aconite is amazing for that state of mind where you feel that acute panic, or that acute palpitation, or that acute state of mind where you start to feel fear and restlessness. Aconite, as if you have attended a workshop with me before, or are a part of my group, or have or know a little bit about homeopathy, you know that Aconite is amazing also to nip illnesses in the bud. And one of our stalwarts of homeopathy, Jeremy Sher, him and his wife Camilla are doing work in Tanzania, and they are actually collecting data on people who are treating viral illnesses, people who are treating patients that have COVID. And Aconite is an amazing remedy for the beginning. So at the first sign of, oh, I think I'm getting sick, or at the first sign of that runny nose, if you take Aconite, it will nip the illness in the bud. So you can use it for both, for that emotional first aid, as well as a first remedy to nip an illness in the bud, meaning if there's exposure to cold, or if you feel like you're getting sick, you were out in the, you had something cold to eat or drink, or you went out in the, without being completely covered up, the Aconite is an amazing remedy for that. The next remedy is Arsenicum. Another one of my favorites. I sometimes feel like this is my remedy. The arsenic is great, like this, what Mary has put over there. Like if you're cleaning your house maniacally to try to feel in control, that's literally me. Like I am so particular and so perfectionistic. Like if the shoes are by the door, they have to be like together. They have to be lined up, everything. If there's a painting on the wall, that has to be straight. Even if it's a little bit off balance, I'll be like telling Mahesh, can you straighten it? He's like, how do you see these things which I don't see? So the arsenic is great for that anxiety. Arsenic is great for if you feel like you're going to catch an illness, or if you are in the grocery store, and like Liddy mentioned that, we're fine when we are at home, but when we go out and we sense the fear around us, and we sense that stress around us, and we take that on and we feel it, that's the state of arsenicum. Arsenicum is great if you come in contact with somebody that was sick. If somebody sneezes or coughs in your vicinity, it's arsenicum. I usually take the arsenicum right after my EMS shift. I've had 3 shifts. I have been just doing my every other Monday shift. I'm not picking extra shifts up. I don't want to be a hero. I know that I can do this. I can serve the community better if I stay well and continue to offer homeopathy to my families. So I've been doing my every other Monday shift, which gives me a 14-day break between shifts. But each time I come back from the shift, I take the arsenicum. So 2 shifts I did not have calls, but the 3rd shift I had an accident on 95. And even though I wore my PPE, everything, but I still came home and I took the arsenicum. I gave it to my husband. I gave it to my son because they came in contact with me. This was my first visit to Norwalk hospitals in this past month. And I felt like I was in the ER. I was in there with patients who were being treated for COVID. So I was like, I need to take not 1, but 3 doses. So the 2 shifts that I went where I didn't have calls, I just took the 1 dose. And then on the other 2, and on the 3rd shift when I had a call, I took 3 doses 12 hours apart, and it really helped me, and I'm doing okay. The next remedy is Argentum nitricum. It's again up there for anxiety. And other than what the slide says, where you're imagining the worst case scenarios, you're asking yourself, what if this happens or other happens? The other thing I have noticed with people needing Argentum nitricum is the craving for sweets. So if your stress makes you crave sweets when you're like worried and anxious, the remedies are Argentum nitricum. The other thing I've noticed with people who do well on Argentum nitricum, or is a big keynote indication for needing Argentum nitricum, is diarrhea. So if your anxiety makes you go again and again, consider Argentum nitricum, and that will really help you. Gelsemium. I don't think anybody here doesn't know about Gelsemium. This is for the anticipatory anxiety. So if you feel anxious when you're stepping out of the house, when you're going to the grocery store, or when you feel like you're going to be in contact with somebody, or any kind of anxiety, if you take 1 to 3 doses of Gelsemium, that will really calm you down. So any anticipatory anxiety, your remedy is Gelsemium. Phosphoricum acidum, or phosphoric acid. So this is not to be confused with phosphorus. This is another remedy that I've used a lot in this month. This is a remedy for when you get completely apathetic, meaning it's not just for the exhausted caregiver. It is for when, because you've been home for so long, you don't want to do anything. I used to do Zumba every single day, and now I think I must have done it like 3 or 4 times in this whole month. And all the 3 or 4 times that I did it, I had taken the Phosphoricum acidum. So when you just don't want to get out of bed, when you just want to stay in bed and not do anything, and that state of mind is Phosphoricum acidum. It will get you off your butt and get you to do stuff. It's funny how we are all studying and working from home. So I'm usually in bed in the morning once I'm up by 6:30, answering emails, answering messages. So when I told my son that he needs to sit on his desk and do it, he's like, "But mom, you're in bed and doing it, so why are you telling me to get up?" And the other day he was in his bed in the afternoon, and when my husband told him to get up, he was like, "But mom is lying down and doing it." So they both came down thinking I'm going to be lying down on the couch and answering emails. But this was the one time, luckily, I wasn't lying down on the couch, and I was actually sitting up with the laptop answering messages and emails. So, but this is the remedy to, get you off your butt. So if at any time you feel like just not getting up, or there's a list, a to-do list, which is not getting done, this is your remedy. It will help you get off and do what you need to do. Ignatia. This one is, again, one of my favorites. We've all used it, where for that emotional shock and grief, this is the remedy for that. And it's also the remedy for healthcare workers. If you are going through what you're going through, where you're taking on the grief, because the people who are in the hospitals do not have their own family members there. So it's the healthcare workers who are having to take that role on. And you are experiencing the grief and the sadness of these people, for both the patient as well as their family. And the Ignatia is amazing to take that edge off, to get your energy back to the center, because you're going through all of this stress and all of this grief and sadness with the families. And if you watch something on the news, or if you hear of something and it makes you sad, if the emotion that you're experiencing is sadness, the remedy is Ignatia for you. Natrimur. So Natrimur and Ignatia are close in their presentation. The difference being that the Natrimur will try to put on a brave front, and they don't want to tell of what they're feeling to anybody. So the person eating Natrimur will kind of keep everything inside. Even if they're crying, and if somebody tries to kind of console them, they will push the person away. They want to be left alone. They don't want to deal with anybody, and they want to deal with their own emotions, and they keep trying to bottle everything up inside. And the other problem with Natrimur is that they go on thinking about it. Whatever has happened, they go on, it's like a broken record. It keeps playing in their head, and it just makes them worse and worse. Now, the other indication for Natrimur, remember how I said that the Argentum nitricum usually craves sweets? The Natrimur, it's made from salt, and people needing Natrimur usually crave the salty. So if you're reaching for a bag of chips when you're stressed, think of Natrimur. That's the remedy that will help you. Lachesis. So this remedy is big for those people who are being mistrustful of, like one of the attendees said, that don't know what to believe anymore, right? Because we are having so much information thrown at us from all angles. I'm hearing something from the government, I'm hearing something else on Facebook, the news media is telling me something else. You don't know who to trust. So with all this, if you start to feel frustrated and mistrustful of what is happening, the lachesis will bring you back to center. So the lachesis is amazing for that state where you don't feel like you can trust anybody anymore. Sepia. Sepia is one of my favorites. Sepia is a remedy that has saved a lot of children from being murdered. I hate to say that, but it's really the remedy for when you are ready to pull your hair out because you have so much to do. I know there are all kind of memes and jokes going around in India about how the moms have to now, like it used to be 1 or 2 meals a day. It's almost like you finish one meal and they're hungry again. You finish one meal and then they're hungry again. And all you seem to be doing is cooking and cleaning and picking up after everybody. And if that drives you crazy, if the kids are not going to change, people at home are not going to change, but at least the sepia will help center you and bring you back to where you won't be that angry and frustrated and that irritable with your family and who are at home right now. And again, this is a remedy for PMS. So you'll notice that you're more irritable around the period. So you will be fine throughout the month, but just before and around when you're about to get your period, that week before the period and when you get the period, if you're extra cranky, extra irritable, ready to kill whoever comes in your path, consider sepia. Steffes agria. Steffes agria will keep the peace in the house. Steffes agria is amazing for when you feel emotionally, personally violated by the other person's behavior. And I hear this a lot, that because we are all in the same confined space with our family, that things are being said that would not have been said otherwise. And you feel like it was unreasonable and you feel angry. The word is indignation. And the Steffes agria is amazing for that. When you either suppress your anger and keep it bottled up inside and you don't want to say anything to keep the peace, or you're not able to control yourself and you say it out, but then you feel terrible later knowing that, it's only happening because you're spending so much time together. The other person didn't mean it, and you should have really not have contributed to the issue by having an outburst. So for both situations where you suppress your anger and you don't want to say anything, it will help you in that situation, as well as if you're not able to control yourself and you yell at that person and then feel terrible later, the Steffes agria will still help you with that. Pulsatilla. So this is a remedy which is, I'm seeing a lot of children needing this remedy right now, because I get a lot of messages saying that my child won't leave me alone. They're being more clingy, more needy, needing me more than they normally do. Normally they would be sleeping by themselves. Now they don't want to sleep by themselves anymore. And I can't work because all they want to do is be with me. They are just not wanting to be by themselves. So that state of mind, the Pulsatilla will really help. And if you start to feel that way too, if you're crying, if you find yourself crying for no reason, the Pulsatilla would help in that situation. Now, the phosphorus is a remedy for an empath. So the phosphorus is when you start to feel what other people are feeling. So even though you can't do anything because of all the social distancing guidelines, and if you're not able to go out and help, but you start to feel the burnout because you see and you hear about everybody else's suffering, and that remedy is phosphorus. So it's also for if you're not able to sleep because you are thinking of all of what is happening around you, phosphorus would help you even then. Or if you're getting dreams of dead people, or if you're becoming more philosophical, or if you are, you're a very happy person otherwise, but because of this, you're feeling completely down, the phosphorus would still help you for feeling burnt out from what is happening around in these times. So these were the remedies that Mary Espinal went over, and I'm going to talk about a couple of more remedies that I felt were equally important. And I pulled these out from Miranda Castro's Homeopathic Guide to Stress. This is literally my Bible. I've read this from page to page. Like if you look at my book, it's like completely beaten up. And I had bought this book about 4 or 5 years back. And then last year, when I was at the conference, I met Miranda over there and she autographed it for me. So this book is really special to me. And I feel like she is a goddess, Miranda. So she has written multiple books on basic homeopathy, on pregnancy and childbirth. And then this is one of my favorites, the Homeopathic Guide to Stress. So I'm going to pick out some remedies from this which are pertinent to what to what we are going through right now, and then that's it. Then after that, I'll open it up to questions. So I'm going to take it from where I left off with phosphorus. So like I said, the phosphorus is an empath. So the phosphorus feels other people's pain, and like phosphorus, causticum is the other remedy for those who suffer as a result of the suffering of others. This is according to Miranda Castro. Only they suffer much more deeply. So they are the ones who are out sewing or delivering masks. They are the ones raised. So they feel like they have to do something. So they feel so strongly about what is happening that they are the ones who are out there doing stuff. So they're raising funds. They're raising donations. They are doing the food drive. They are out volunteering. Or on the other hand, they're out on the streets, or you'll see them on social media protesting the lockdown. So they feel strongly about what is happening and they feel like they have to do something about it. So they could be either doing something positive or they could be doing something by just voicing their opinion loudly about what is happening, pro or con. So both those people would do well on causticum. The stress that their bodies are feeling from the situation where they feel like they have to do something. The next remedy is calcarea carb. Calcarea carb are those that are badly affected by all these sad and tragic stories because they have active imaginations and they respond to the stress by becoming deeply anxious. They worry about the future, about bad things happening, and bad things happening especially to others that are close to them. And this will wear them out, causing them to become physically sluggish and emotionally depressed. Now, coming to the last few remedies on this list, Oculus. Oculus indicus is a remedy that I have recommended in the past for insomnia, for breastfeeding moms, for students who stay up late at night to study and then are unable to go to sleep, or for when you're traveling or you're jet lagged and you wake up and you're not able to go back to sleep. 1 to 3 doses of Oculus will usually help you sleep. In this particular situation, Oculus is great for those people that worry compulsively about their loved ones, like calcarea carb. And this worry keeps them from sleeping at night. They become exhausted. The world slows down. And I heard this a lot, right? The word was surreal. They feel like everything is slowed down, like nothing is real. But time passes quickly, especially at night. And when they try to sleep, but they cannot. They become confused, anxious, and dizzy with exhaustion. And a couple of doses of Oculus will help get that sleep cycle back on track. So the other remedy for those people that are sleep deprived as a result of worry, that is nitric acid. So for nitric acid is especially for those that get exhausted and are angry, and their anger is extreme. Their sensitive and compassionate nature cannot comprehend what has happened. So think of both. I don't know if you all saw this picture that was making the rounds on Facebook since yesterday. It was a picture of this woman in an SUV who was protesting the lockdown. And there was a healthcare worker in his N95 mask and his scrubs standing right in front of her. So both of them need the nitric acid. So both their situation is that of nitric acid because they are so angry. The person who's protesting, the person in the SUV was angry because she's not able to go to work. She's protesting the lockdown. Whereas the healthcare worker who's standing in front of the SUV was angry at these people for coming out there and protesting because according to the healthcare worker, when you're out there, you're actually jeopardizing everybody's health and you're actually spreading the virus. So for both of them, because both of them are right in their own way, from their own perspective, it's like the 6-9 situation where both of them think they're right and they're both feeling this extreme anger at the situation. So when you feel that extreme anger to the point where you're out there on the street protesting, that state of mind is your nitric acid. Now, the last 3, these we have discussed in the past many times. Bryonia, we call the bryonia the grumpy bear. very irritable. They are very cranky. Don't come near me. Don't talk to me. Brownia is the remedy in this situation for the economic insecurity that a lot of people are experiencing. But these particular people who need the bryonia are losing their sleep over their stocks, bonds, their 401ks. They are looking at their portfolio every day and seeing the numbers going down, and it's driving them crazy, and it's not letting them sleep. And the bryonia will bring them back to center. Now, Naxwamika, we've all used Naxwamika for dietary indiscretions, whenever there is an upset tummy, for any indigestion. These Naxwamika people are the type A personality, so they're impatient, irritable, they're sensitive to all external stimuli. Working from home is not the easiest for these people. There's overindulgence in food and drink. Alcohol is considered an essential, and as you all know, the sales are up right now. So there's a lot of alcohol flowing. And the Naxwamika is your remedy. If you've had a drink too many to deal with the situation, you wake up with a hangover or you're not feeling good, please, the Naxwamika is available. It'll bring you back to center again. This is the last one, the most important remedy, Kali Phos. I heard this a lot, but the feeling of fatigue, exhaustion, sleeplessness, overwhelmed, that is Kali Phos. So if at any point you fit any of these adjectives, please reach for the Kali Phos, and it'll really help you. So it's the remedy for feeling overwhelmed. This is again, what is homeopathy? This is from the National Center of Homeopathy. I'm not going to go over this. This is my basic kit. If you're new to homeopathy, these are the remedies that I cannot do without. The arnica for bumps and bruises, aconite, if there is any, we discussed that today also, the start of illnesses from cold exposure or for acute panic, belladonna, pain or fever, apis for any allergic reactions, stings, burns, redness, hives, leadampal, bug bites, puncture wounds, any kind of bites, gelsemium, so stress, anticipatory anxiety, fever with chills, Naxwamika, indigestion, dietary indiscretions, jet lag, and then the arsenicum alpha for food poisoning, allergies, and in this situation, if there is exposure to a sick person, you can take a dose, or if you feel the anxiety. I remember we went grocery shopping, we went to drop Mahika off to the airport, and then we were picking up some groceries for my uncle who can't leave the house in New York, and we went into the Indian grocery store there, and they had this religious music going on, and like Liddy said, everybody was so stressed. Nobody was making eye contact with anybody. You know, everybody was just looking down, just quickly picking up what they needed and go. And just being inside the store for 5 minutes stressed me out so much. So, you know, if you're out in public or if you're exposed to this kind of a stressful situation, it almost feels like, you know, somebody's like, I don't know, the end of the world or something like that. And the arsenicum alba is amazing for that state. Basics on homeopathic remedies. They're safe, inexpensive, non-toxic, available over the counter at most health food stores, can be given to babies, pregnant women, elderly. Please do it under the supervision of a qualified homeopath in the beginning. No side effects if the remedy is chosen carefully and administered in the right potency, right dose. 30C is considered safe to use for infants, children, adults, elderly, as well as pregnant women. Coming to the dose, for those who have worked with me or are familiar with homeopathy, this is just again a review. One tiny pill is 1 dose. The whole bottle taken at one time is 1 dose. It's not the number of times the remedy is given, but the number of, not the number of pills that is important, but the number of times. So if you were to use any of these remedies for yourself, you can use 1 to 3 doses in an acute situation, 5 to 30 minutes apart on a neutral, clean mouth. By neutral, clean mouth, I mean that you should not have the taste of food or drink in your mouth when you take the remedy. And you can take water before you take the remedy, but don't take water for at least 10 to 15 minutes after the remedy. Decrease the frequency, and then you can take a dose every 1 to 3 hours as you feel better, and then keep tapering to twice a day, once a day, and stop as the symptoms are improving. Dosing again. taking it one step further, in an acute situation, you can do frequent repetitions of low potencies. But if you're taking a higher potency as a constitutional remedy under your homeopath's direction, you will be probably taking it once in a week or once in 7 to 28 days. How do I learn more about homeopathy? Join a local homeopathic study group, attend a workshop like this one, like the National Center of Homeopathy's Facebook page. You can like my page, you can join my group. You can join my group by either supporting the National Center of Homeopathy with your membership, or you can join by supporting the Holistic Moms Network. So if you do 2 years of payment, I think it's like $55. So if you're not a member of our closed group, you can become a member by sending me the receipt of your membership to the Holistic Moms Network. The receipt for $55, which is 2 years membership to the Holistic Moms Network. I'll be happy to add you into our paid Forward Think Homeopathy First group. So you can do it either by supporting National Center of Homeopathy, or you can support the Holistic Moms Network. If you send me a receipt of 2 years of membership, I'll add you into the group. Ask questions, be an informed patient, take control of your family's health. There are many free books to download. And if you send me your email address, I will send you notes from this slideshow, and I'll send all of this to you guys. Websites that I trust, again, I can put these in the chat, or I can email it to everybody also. The important one that I shared in the beginning of the workshop also is this one, that everybody should take Mary Espinwall's free #newbie course. You can do that by going to her website. And again, I can share this link with you guys. It's a really amazing course that she has put together. I tested it out last week and I absolutely loved it. I know homeopathy, but even to me, there was things in that where I was like, oh my God, she's made it so simple for anybody to understand. That's it. So that's the end of the presentation. Thank you so much for attending. I'm going to now stop share, and I'm going to open it up to questions.